Welcome to a new episode of Outside the Panels with your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes.
Hello everyone to another episode of Outside the Panels. I'm your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. And if you've been watching this show for a while, you know I like new projects. You also know that, you know what, Kickstarter don't give me any cheddar cheese. You know, so it's time we have a look at a different type of crowdfunding platform for a comic. Now, you might ask me, how do you make a comic book, Machine? And that's a really good question. But this guy, the EEC publisher of Foreign Press Comics, has a great recipe for success. He puts his comics in the kitchen, sets it to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and 20 minutes later, he's got himself a comic book. I'm, of course, talking about the fantastic and super creative Kylar Merrell. Kylar, how's it going?
It's going good. I appreciate the intro.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was good. It was good.
It's like I do this for a living or something.
Yeah, exactly. I like it.
Kylar, thank you so much for taking time out of comics and kitchen.
Yeah,
and then coming to talk to me about your project.
Yeah, I
I've kind of
appreciate you
hinted.
having me on.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome. I've hinted it in the intro, so tell everyone what is your project, please.
My project is called Comics from the Kitchen. It's a combination cookbook and comic anthology. It's, I think, equal parts both. And it's over 20 comic book stories. All are about food. Some of them are more serious and very personal. Some of them are more fun and out there. But either way, they're all about food. That's the focus. And then paired with each story is a recipe. So,
Okay.
you know, you read a story that's about someone arguing over whose banana bread is better, then you have a recipe for that banana bread. You have a story about someone's father teaching them to cook meatballs, you got a recipe for the meatballs. And so it's just this this really great integration of both ideas and both things, and they kind of just come together in this, and that's what we have here.
It is an unusual idea. When I first saw the premise, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Because you know what comic nerds are like, man.
Mhm.
You know, you buy the comic, you put it in a bag, you put a board in it, you stick it in your collection, you never let it see it.
Exactly.
Now you want your comic book out in the kitchen with a
No,
recipe. Oh man, just with all the flour stains.
Exactly. It's going to be a mess. That's what I want. I want really messy copies of this book in a little bit.
You know what you should do? You should have some sort of for the next volume. You should get people to send in the photos of their recipe up comic books and just like have a page of
you go.
And all the comic nerds would be like, no.
Exactly. That really freaks some people out.
It's interesting because once I got over the initial, like, what the hell's going on, I reflected a little bit, and I have a son who is in his 20s, early 20s. I know I don't look old enough. You don't have to say it. I said nobody ever. And one of my fondest memories of him is if I was going to see my grandparents, and he'd always say, "Oh, will we be doing some baking today?" That's what he's saying. I was like, I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get there, and he's like, "Oh, can we bake?" And my gran, bless her socks, would get out the flour and start making biscuits or sausage rolls or God knows what. So, what is it? Because I mean, it's part cookbook, part comic. You're appealing to like two sets of different memory systems, though, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of where the whole concept started. Because like, I knew I wanted to do something about food, and but I also knew that I didn't want to just do hey, tell a food story. And so the prompt was what you just said. It's, we all have memories about food. You know, some people it's, you know, the cookies that your grandmother made. Some people it's, you know, might be the meal that you had with your first girlfriend. I don't know. You know, there's all these memories that come from food, and I just wanted people to tell us about that. And some people, and I was pretty lenient with it. Like I said, I let them tell some fantasy stories, some weird little things going on the side that aren't exactly true memories. But that was kind of the core of it. Is I wanted to kind of capture that, and I think that's what the anthology does well. Is that reading that story, you get a piece of that creator, you get to see a bit of that memory, and then you get the recipe. And so it adds a level of depth to the recipe that wouldn't just be there if you were just to make that by itself. Like, it's great, but it adds.
I suppose to the memory as well, isn't it? Because now,
exactly.
now you've read the memory,
Exactly.
and you read the story, like, oh yeah, it's a quaint story. But then when you're cooking the pizza or the burritos or whatever, it's like, wow, I'm there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
You get to be a part of that with that creator.
Cool. So, what is your comics background then? What is it that made you think cookbook and comics? I mean, cookbook I get, but comics?
I've already done 2 anthologies previously. I did one. My first one was kind of when I first started comics. Was in 20. I technically started comics in like 2017, but that was mostly for myself. I didn't start to actually make like actual things for other people, like to either be involved in or to sell, until 2020 when COVID happened, and so I threw together a little anthology. I loved that. I made my own comics after that, and then I decided after that anthology was done, I started another anthology, which was called Fletcher Cross. It was funded on Kickstarter last year, and so then I was like, okay, now I want to do another anthology, and so we just everything just kind of snowballed from one anthology straight into the next one. It started with just me doing a simple digital only one that I had absolutely no idea what I was doing for in like May of 2020. And then that led right into the next one, and then that led right into this one, and then that's going to lead right into my next one.
So when you said the first one, you did the first one. Is that you writing it, drawing it, or did you have a team of creators on board from that early days?
I just, like I said, I had absolutely no idea how to run an anthology, what it meant. I just was like, hey, I want to do this, and so I didn't know about to pay any of my collaborators or anything like that. So I just had said, hey, if you want to submit a story. I'll pair it with a writer, with an artist, and then we'll just go from there. And so I probably had 8 or 9 stories, and we needed an artist, so I did art for one of them. But for the most part, it was just I just wanted to do it. And so I didn't have any idea what I was doing. It just happened. And so I edited that, and that was a great experience, just learning how to collaborate with others, how to build an anthology, how to format things. I learned a lot in that first little anthology, and that's really been, now that I think about it, it's really been a big impact on just what I know now and what I'm able to do now.
It's interesting because again, you mentioned COVID earlier. I'm a huge Counting Crows fan, and I know that during COVID, Adam DeWitt took a whole sideways cookery thing as well. It's kind of like, I'm thinking to myself now, is cookery the new? Is cookery the new thing? It's like, am I going to have to get in the kitchen and bang me some babes or something? What's going on here? Yeah. But funny, I do cook for everyone who's like thinking, do I do?
Yeah, no, I bet. Yeah. I believe you.
Yeah, I make a great toad in the hole. Do you guys know what toad in the hole is?
Maybe.
All right, so toad in the hole, it's like Yorkshire pudding.
Yes. Yeah.
So what you do is you part cook some sausages. You then make a Yorkshire pudding mix, and then when you get the oven to around 220, and then you pour the batter mix over the sausages, and then as the Yorkshire pudding grows and expands, it grows over the sausages.
Okay, I got you.
It's like a Sunday lunch type thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So you put
I'm into that.
Yeah, so you get a big wedge of Yorkshire pudding with like 3 sausages in, and then all the veg on top. And so
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's my pièce de résistance.
There you go. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got something that they're like, that's my thing.
Yeah, that and fajitas, but that's a whole different thing. So, anthology-wise, take me back to when you read comics from the outset. Were you always interested in anthologies, or did you just think this is a great way to showcase multiple talent?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I never really read an anthology other than reading like some issue of, I can't think of anything specifically, but just they have different comics where it's just hey, here's a short story about the Captain America, and then here's one that's about whatever. And so I guess I didn't really get familiar with anthologies until I started making comics in like 2017, and I started seeing other people do them, and so I was like, okay, I'm aware of what this is, and I really don't know why I decided to why that was the format that I wanted to do. Now that I think about it, I can't remember. I just remember knowing that it was there and being like, I bet I could do that, and I just did it.
I suppose it depends how you look at it, isn't it? I mean, I'm obviously from the UK, and our comic books take the anthology methodology. Even when Marvel UK late 70s, early 80s, you'd get
Mhm.
like a Spider-Man weekly, for example.
Yeah.
And it'd be like one half would be Spider-Man, then there'd be another character, then there'd be something else at the
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Yeah, like 3 different stories, right? And of course, we have 2000 AD, which is
Yeah.
probably one of the most famous anthology
Mhm.
books kicking around.
Mhm. Yeah.
But then on top of that, Marvel have Marvel Comic Presents, you've got Action Comics from
Mhm.
DC,
Yeah.
Dark Horse Presents.
Yeah.
And, so there is something, I think, for me as a Brit, there is something quite nostalgic about an
Mhm.
anthology.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
ties into the whole idea that you're bringing those memories to the
Yeah.
fore.
Mhm. There you go. Yeah, it's another element to it.
Yeah. How with an anthology, I mean, they're the pluses. How do you kind of deal with? I suppose I'm going to say this. It sounds negative. I don't mean it negative, so
Mhm.
please don't take it that way.
Okay.
But different art styles sometimes they don't gel well. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you're reading one story, you're like, wow, yeah, it's really great. Then you turn over the page, like, whoa, Nelly,
Yeah.
what's this? How do you kind of try and manage that out a little bit, or balance it out, I should say?
Yeah, that was something that was really, I really thought about that a lot in the very initial stages of, especially more of this anthology than the other ones. But I just thought, like, I had the thought that should I really lay into this and only take the cream of the crop, or do I want? Because I'm a very much of the mindset. It's why I started to make comics. Was I'd always told myself that like my art wasn't good enough. But then there was some Reddit thread somewhere where I saw basically someone said that they disliked an artist who I immensely love to this day, and
Say names, drop names.
Francis Manapul.
Really? Someone complained about Francis Manapul?
Yeah, they said they were like, yeah, his art's just not to my taste. It's just they just said it's not for them. But it just kind of, and then other people in the thread were also complimenting an artist that I personally don't like, and I'll name that too, John Romita Jr. But that's just, I think that's a
John Romita Jr. Well,
that's I've realized something lately. That's if people who saw him back when he was newer, when he was first getting into it, they have more of a nostalgic look for him. And I do, having looked at watched videos about it and stuff, his style has changed in a way that I don't think is great. But anyway, there are people who love it.
Of course.
Yeah. But there are people who love him, and I'm just like, he's not for me. But so the thing that made me make comics is that like your work is going to appeal to somebody. It may not be like something that everybody's going to love, but it's going to appeal to somebody. And also it's not going to appeal to other people. That's just the way that taste goes.
Well, that's exactly it. It's kind of like food as well then, right?
Exactly. It's just like food, where some things just aren't to people's taste. And so I kind of just had the same thing for this anthology. I was like, if just because their art isn't to my taste necessarily, I still think that they can tell a good story, and their artwork, I can follow what's going on. So why not? It's going to appeal to somebody, and it gives a creator a voice. And so, I figured let's go for it. And I've still, none of the artwork that is in here is anything that I would say like I am nothing I was like really like hating on. It's just oh, I don't know if this is what I want to put in this book. But then it was like, no, I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah. I like that. It's kind of that kind of creative spark. I'm very impressed how you managed to kind of divorce yourself, I suppose, from your own personal taste.
Yeah.
As an editor and you're doing an anthology, you're going to have to be. You're absolutely right. You have to be a little bit open-minded. You're going to get some art that's going to blow you away, and you're going to think that there's going to be some art that you think, you know what, this doesn't do it for me, but, and then go from there. Yeah,
and also, definitely. I'm not gonna lie. A tiny bit of it was also, by bringing in more people, we're also increasing the reach and the appeal of this project. That is also a part of it, because with an anthology, I would feel, unless they were like huge properties or something, or huge names, I wouldn't want to do an anthology with only like 3 or 4 people in it. So I liked having that big roster as well.
You know what? You've just kind of hit the point. You hit the nail bang on here. I've recently purchased what did I buy? The DC Showcase Blu-ray, and I didn't realize there were shorts. I thought it was like it's a Constantine House of Mystery is the thing,
Yeah.
is the main pull, right? And I thought it was like a whole thing, like a whole movie. So I got it and put it in, and I was like, oh, the shorts. And then I looked at it and I thought to myself, there is no way without Constantine, which my wife really likes, so I bought it for her more than me. There's no way I would have bought this for the Blue Beetle, Commandy, and the Losers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm like, well done, marketing, you got me.
Yeah, exactly. They knew how to bring you in.
Yeah. Puts a tanner on it, it's always going to get my attention. That's a whole different fishnet type of thing. I suppose the way the book's sort of formatted, you've got like, by having the recipes put in there, you are kind of essentially pushing the creative reset button a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not kind of like, as I described, it's not one style. Whoa, it's like one style, digest the recipe, think about it, and then go on to the next style.
Yeah, and like, because I had thought about that originally, was like, do I just let these people just make their own recipe pages, and however you format it, that's for you. But I just decided to kind of meet in the middle, and so they all have a featured dish on their page that it's in their art style, and then the rest of the page is all me as the editor / letterer person. I designed the recipe pages, and like I drew the little doodles in the background and things like that. But so that was definitely something that crossed my mind, was, do I let them completely? But you're right, I do think it also serves as a I just like the consistency, but also it does serve as a good buffer,
like a palate cleanser.
Exactly. There you go. You're just on point today.
What can I say? So I love comics. I love all sorts of comics. I'm a superhero guy. I'm not going to make no bones about it. But the cartoony style really works for me. I really like that sort of thing. And this is kind of one of the recipes that comes up later. Is this the $100 pizza, isn't it?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that pizza better be good. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, got it. It was $100 worth $100. But no, that's Sophia Hickerson. She just graduated from SCAD, I think. From our art program. So congratulations to Sophia. Shout out to you. But yeah, she's one I had never met before this project, and just it happened, and she's done great, and so it's been awesome.
So we're looking at the actual book, the PDF you sent across, which I really do appreciate. This book is 75 pages long. You've got 20, did you say 20 stories in there?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be about 20 stories. 20 stories. We're currently at, I don't know how many stories I have done, actually. I don't know. I have it open somewhere on my computer. I'll find it later. But anyway, I probably have about, like I said, maybe 10 to 12 completely done. And so I'm still kind of working on, like I said, I'm doing all the formatting and getting all the little background images done and things like that. So it's just kind of what I have time for at the moment, because I'm also in the middle of moving and things like that. So, it's got a lot going on right now, but
life, God damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Life.
You know what? I've just recently started to feel the benefit of a breakfast burrito. It's something I've just been messing around with recently myself. Sausage, egg, bacon, and that.
Yeah.
I also make chili burritos now. Normally I just do chili and rice, but now I've burritoed it up.
I haven't had chili and rice in so long. That sounds awesome.
But honestly, man, chili dogs. I like chili dogs.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. So you can see what I mean. I mean, this is a totally different style to the previous story we looked at. I do like the kind of color vibe on this one. It's not all over the place. It's kind of very much tonal, which I really do like.
Yeah.
So these are the best things about anthologies, is the fact you get to see so many different arts and different stories. I mean, we're just looking, there's the dreaded 9-panel page.
Yep, exactly. Yes, it's not just art styles that are different. It's also what approaches they took to storytelling and to the way that they wanted to make their project look. And I just think that's so cool.
As an editor, how far do you push that envelope then? Because you mentioned the recipes act as the buffer, the kind of consistency of the book. How far then do you manage to kind of corral the artistic genius, especially if they're kind of going like way outside the boxes, as it were?
The art for the art, I didn't really do much of anything, to be honest. I just kind of let people run, which I think is, a good skill to have in any comic creation at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you're just writing something, I think it's good to let your artist kind of do a little bit with it. But I would looked at most, if not all, of the scripts, so I knew what I was getting. I knew and I had seen their artwork before, so I knew like what I was getting into. I knew what was going on, so I trusted each of them to kind of do their thing. And I also done a little bit of just vetting on social media and thing to see if there were all right people and how well they worked on different things. But yeah, so it's just mostly the only thing I really had to edit down was like page numbers was the big thing, and a couple people had like a curse word here or there, and I was like, all right, I want to keep it kid friendly. I just thought like that fit better with this project, and so so it was just little minor things like that. There wasn't anything that I really had to change or edit too much.
I can see why the attraction of going kid friendly would make sense, definitely. It's cool. It's interesting, the page count thing. I thought, because you normally think art uber alles, I suppose, but on the flip side of that, if someone gives me a book that's badly written but has got fantastic art, then I'm not going to buy that book. I'd rather have great art, great writing, thank you, and then deal with the rest.
Yeah, and the page thing was just like, because when we write a script, you want it to make it so that like a bigger event is going to be on the page turn, and so some people are really mindful of that. Some people aren't as mindful, especially depends on like the genre. Like it really fits with horror and things like that. But for this, it didn't really, in my story, it didn't make too much of a difference. But anyway, I just had to make sure that each story had to be an odd number of pages. That way, when you added the one extra story onto it, it made it even. So that way everybody's could be the same and keep it all formatted and easy for me. But that was, like I said, that was honestly the main issue I had with people.
Cool. Excellent. We'll take a quick break for one of our other shows. Kylar, help me out on this. Are you more of a Marvel or a DC kind of guy?
DC now, probably.
DC now. Oh.
Used to be a Marvel guy, but now a bit of a DC guy.
All right. In that case, then, welcome to our longest advert that we've got. It's the Definitive Crusade. Definitive Crusade, all about your DC comics. Don't watch if you're looking for a Flash special there. There's only one person going to see that, and that'll be me. So
lucky you.
Yeah, go and check out the UCPN, because I'm sure we'll do the Flash special. Although, to be fair, I've been calling it Batman.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, what are you doing next week? I'm going to see Batman. Oh, it's a new Batman movie. Oh, it's the other guy.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to put you on the spot, Kylar. I'm really sorry to do this. Normally with anthology books, you get which is your favorite artist? Or, which is your favorite story? I'm not going to do that this time, because that would be cruel. That would be cruel, and that would be mean. What's your favorite recipe?
I haven't gone through all of them yet. I really like the there's one for Melanie Charlotte cannoli cream layer cake.
Oh, just
I got that correctly. And it's
I just got that to hand.
all right. There you go. It's because it's not an actual cake. It's because the story is birthday cake for when it's too hot to bake, and so it's all about that story.
Is that the
Is
one?
missing so yeah, no, it is. I think it's just missing the background images. I might have to fix that.
That's the actual image, the download image of the page. It's not.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Then that's an earlier version. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If that was in the PDF, I'd be upset, but we're good.
Yeah.
Kind of freaked out, but no. That's just I just think it's a really cool recipe. It's one she came up with as a kid. Kind of because she always wanted birthday cake, but it was always she was always told it was too hot to bake outside. It was too hot outside for them to bake. And so she loved cake and she came up with her own thing. And I just think it's so creative, especially again, it goes back to when it goes with the story to know that like that she came up with that herself as a kid, and it adds that other level of like personality to it, a level of heart to it that I think is really cool.
That other layer. What?
No, that's good. You just keep doing it. You just keep coming out of nowhere with these little. You get me.
Some quippage. That's
exactly.
Yeah. That's okay. Cool. Well, which other one did I like the look of? I've got one here. Same sort of thing as from the previews, not from the actual comic itself. So don't stress out about that. Oh, that's not it. Where is it? Give me 2 seconds. I had it earlier. There it is. I was like, what are these? What are these?
Is it the pinchos?
It is the yeah.
Oh no, the boniato. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from Dan Mambiela. That's his story. That's a story that his uncle, I believe, he always used to ask his uncle. And so that's a boniato, which is basically just a sweet potato. I had to ask because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I couldn't work out if it was potato or bananas, but
no, it's sweet potato.
Yeah,
he said that's the best substitution for it. Would be a sweet potato.
Excellent. So the next question around the recipes is: have you tried cooking any of them?
Not yet. I'm going to be honest. Like I said, the problem has been that I'm a elementary teacher. That's my day job, and so I just finished a really stressful school year, so I didn't have time to do it before. And then I immediately went to trying to sign a lease and move into a house that's an hour and a half away while I'm trying to launch this cookbook. And I have barely had time to really cook for myself. And I've had some cooking videos that I've made as part of this whole process, but most of those I made before. And so I have not had time to really, I'd love to cook, honestly, but I just haven't had the time to really do like I want to. And it's just because of life. Like I said, it's just happened to be crazy. I'm going to, I swear I'm going to, but I just haven't had time to sit down. And also I don't want to buy a bunch of ingredients when I'm about to move. And it's just a whole thing.
That's cool. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. I feel bad. I feel guilty.
Don't. Not at all. The proof's in the pudding. So basically you get you guys, everyone else to write it, to cook it and then tell them what you
exactly.
think. You said that your first crowdfunder was through Kickstarter. Why Zoop this time around?
Well, Zoop was originally on my radar because I started the initial process for this back in early 2022, I guess. Is back when things were still up in the air as far as blockchain and things like that went. And so, that's because if you remember, Kickstarter announced that they were moving to the blockchain and everybody freaked out and lost their minds. And that's when Zoop went public. But so I wasn't really, sure about it. And I just decided I want to try this other platform. I might as well give it a shot. It's a different experience because there's not as many, you're not as hands-on with the project, which is good and bad. Because on the one hand, I didn't have to make any of the page. I just uploaded all the files and they put it all together for me. But on the other hand, I'm not hands-on and I'm one of those people that I need to know what's happening. I need to know what's going on at all times. And I don't have as much access, which is just like I said, so there's pros and cons to it, but it mostly just came down to me just wanting to try something different.
Well, there you go. That is as of this page right now.
Yes.
So you are 45 supporters, which I've got to say is a huge amount.
Hmm.
That's a good number of people on there.
Yeah.
You've got 20 days left at the time of recording. You're on 1592.
Just over 25%.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. You've still got all that time to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. I'll allow the cookie so we can see some stuff. All right, so there you go. This is kind of what we get for your money. You get your $10, get you the PDF. I've got to say, and I say this to everybody who's launching a crowdfunder, thank you so much for the PDF.
Hmm.
I think it makes it so hard to back a project
Hmm.
if it's stateside
Yeah.
or in Canada or wherever, and then have to worry about shipping. You know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of one of the things that I think maybe to Zoop's, I don't know if detriment's the right word, but they calculate shipping as well. And so, you know, on Kickstarter, I have more access and I have more control to like that to like because I understand that process, especially as having worked with plenty of people who are overseas. And so having learned like, okay, this is the best way to make things most affordable or most, cost effective for people. And so it's that's just another thing about Zoop that's been different.
I suppose it's when it comes to the different platforms, you've got to go with the one that gets you where you want to be, right?
Yeah. And this is just my first time with Zoop, so it might be great. This could be successful, and we could all have a happy day. And if it's not, there's always I can learn a lesson and try to decide, hey, this isn't for me. There's no telling.
I mean, Kickstarter is probably the daddy of the group.
Well,
Indiegogo's coming up pretty strong. I keep seeing a lot of stuff for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's obvious problems with Indiegogo. I think that I just don't want to get into. But I just posted this earlier today. That I do a lot of. I'm a big nerd, and technically, like I look at a bunch of numbers on like funded campaigns on both platforms, and technically Zoop has typically more backers than Kickstarter campaigns on average. But it's just whatever works for you, whatever works with you and your audience and your project.
I think one of the things that I think spoils Kickstarter, if we're getting into a conversation about crowdfunding slightly, is that it's lost its way a little bit. It's no longer just indie books, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, Dynamite Entertainment have a project going on for Deja Thoris or for Vampy or for Red Sonja. And I get why they do it. They're trying to gauge market success before putting out another mini series or whatever, and then not for it to be picked up by anyone because how many Vampirella books do you need? Just using Vampy as I love Vampy. So just
I have no dog in the fight. So
but that's the point, isn't it? The fact that people like Jeff Johns, Scott Snyder, these big heavyweights are putting stuff on Kickstarter now, and you think to yourself, well, that's not quite what Kickstarter should be.
Yeah,
I think people like Jeff Johns and Scott Snyder should be able to rock up to DC or whomever and say, I've got a book and.
Exactly. But I mean, I think that I've talked to other people on my podcast, talked to Tyler James about this a little while ago.
Okay.
And he's a big Kickstarter. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a big Kickstarter proponent, and he has comics launched and all those sorts of things. And he's one of the people who's of the mind that at the end of the day, it brings more people into Kickstarter. And I haven't seen any numbers to support or deny that. So I wish I did, because I see how it could be better, but I don't know for sure. I don't know how to find out.
Yeah, it's interesting, definitely. Right, excellent. So where next? We'll have a look at foreign press comics. Give me 2 seconds. So when did you form this?
That was just foreign press was just my like I kind of said before we started, like I lately I've been referring to it as a label, just because publisher feels too formal and feels too established and like real for me, whereas I'm just one guy who's mostly putting out my own comics. But I do have the anthologies that are bringing in other people. I have a couple other books from other creators, but mostly it's just my stuff. So it's just an independent label is kind of how I've started to think of it. Not that I'm objecting if anyone calls it a publisher. It's just that's what's been making me feel better about it. But it helps me deal with the imposter syndrome, because I get a lot of imposter syndrome if I'm like, oh, I'm a publisher, because really I'm not that much of a publisher. But anyway, it started in 2017. It's when I started making comics, and I just needed a label. I needed a name to put my stuff under, and so that's what I picked. And it's just one of my friends helped me come up with the name Foreign Press Comics. It sounded cool, and so we just went with it from there.
Interesting. It always surprises me when I hear successful people talk about imposter syndrome. But I get it. I get a level of resonance with this. You were talking about your art not being suitable for everyone, or not liking it. I like to do like every comic book fan does. And I'll draw a picture and I'll think, whoa, look at that, it's great.
Yeah.
And then I look across my comic collection. I think, wait, it doesn't look anything like any of those. You know?
Exactly.
You know? But then you kind of think, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
Cool. What do we have? Banners. All right. So check it out. You can bake this project over at the website there. Don't click it now, because you'll pause the video and I'll look stupid when you do it. All right. Just wait till the end and do it that way. Yeah. Fine. I'll put in the link down underneath the blurb as well. All right, cool. You're also on social media. Check it out. Come to the kitchen. Social media. You've got your Twitter. F Press Comics. Where's my Twitter feed now? Here it is. Let's see. It's F Press
Comics. Lately it's just been all comics from the kitchen. That's been all I posted for the past 2 weeks. So
there you go. You got a follow from me. Excellent.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that. You're more than welcome. Instagram. There you go. Check it out. I assume there's loads of pictures and videos on there.
Like I said, I've been doing little cooking videos that I've been just recording myself cooking something or making something really quick, and then just editing into a little video and just posting on there and posting on TikTok as well. But I don't really get on TikTok very much. I'm just dipping my toes in the water.
Yeah, I don't do TikTok. Every time I look at TikTok, it seems to be some girl in latex. I don't know what that says about my computer algorithms, but hey,
okay, I guess that's you.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with that. Excellent, Kylar. Give me a 60-second blurb, your elevator pitch. Why should I back your project?
Because Comics from the Kitchen, it's stories from. It's 20 different stories. It's from people around the world with stories that mean a lot to them. And especially if anybody hasn't seen a lot of the stories yet, you're not going to get that until you read it, because so many of these stories, I have a story in there that's also about my grandfather and fishing with him. And it's just meant a lot to me to make that. And it's been really cathartic, and it's really, really helped me deal with losing him and things like that. And so, for one, support the creators and the heart that they put into this, but also you get great recipes too, and you get to cook right alongside us, and that in turn helps the story, and the story helps the recipe, and it all just works together in this great little recipe for success. I tried. I couldn't think of anything else. I tried. I couldn't bring it back. I couldn't bring it all together at the end.
Couldn't get the lines in.
Nope.
Oh well. Okay, well, don't stew on this idea. Check out the website. I'll show it one more time. Check out the website. Get yourself pledged for this book. I have to say, I am absolutely charmed by the whole idea of it. And I think that's the intent. I am charmed. Yes. I look at this book and I smile at it. I've got a couple of recipes on there from the PDF you sent. I'm going to try some of those. And I'm going to take some.
All right, let me know how it goes.
And I'll be putting them on your Twitter feed. You can see, how well that goes. You never know. I might even throw a chili hot dog or two in there for you.
All right, I won't be opposed.
Kylar, thank you so much for spending the time. You sound like a really busy guy, so thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me today. Really do appreciate it. Good luck on the book. You're more than welcome. Anytime, sir. Anytime.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for another show. Don't forget to check out the UCPN for all your favorite shows. You saw the trailer for it earlier. It's the Definitive Crusade. And if you like everything Spider-Verse, don't forget to check out No Price Podcast for the Marvel version. There you go.
All right.
All done and done. Kyler, one more time, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, I've been your host, Johnny Machine Hughes. And as always, everyone, adios.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.shop, all about comic pop culture.